There's a lot of buzz out there, and that's exactly what we wanted to create, buzz that leads to deep conversations about what makes every DOTM unique, and hopefully to begin that transaction process here or very shortly after today. But let's talk a little bit about the context, right? Where are we with the ad spend? So my esteemed panel is going to jump here on stage to join the conversation right after I cover some of the data slides. So let me get started, and we are going to cover 3 layers of ad spend. The first one is going to be focused on the right side of these circles, the diverse targeted endemic media that covers the diverse owned and targeted, and also covers the diverse owned media. So everything that is there, what we call targeted and endemic. The circle on the left, called non-endemic, obviously has made great strides in being more inclusive and more culturally relevant in shows, obviously, you know about Blackish and so forth. We have also drawn from that non-endemic content base the shows and the networks that were radio or TV that are also heavily concentrated on multicultural and inclusive segments. So for this first section, again, coming from Nielsen, we are focusing on linear TV, national, local, cable, as well as audio, national network, and spot covering 44 DMAs. It's a universe of $66 billion of ad spend. It does not include digital, it does not include programmatic, but it includes, again, a large portion. So the numbers, as you can see here, for when we combine TV and radio, are about flat from 2019 to 2022, around 17%. The blue section are the Hispanic endemic and Hispanic non-endemic in the lighter blue, and in the dark green, the African American endemic, and lighter blue, the African American non-endemic. And as you can see, those numbers for African Americans targeted have gone from 5.6 to 5.1. Very little change, a little bit of a decrease in the share of that ad spend from 3.3 to 2.8. And among Hispanics, the total has gone from 11 to 11.5. Obviously, we've been talking about that behavior in the industry for many, many years, that one segment takes a little bit and gives it to the other, but at the end of the day, things continue to be pretty much in the same place. And that's the story here. Same thing when we look at only TV ad spend. Not a lot of change, from 15.1 to 15.6%. And in radio, from 26.6, and here we saw a decrease, to 24.7. The decrease coming from the African American endemic that went from 9.1 to 7.3. But the total Hispanic endemic and non-endemic has gone from 14.4 to 14.6. Again, no change here. It seems like I'm trying to, like I'm bidding something because I have to talk so fast, go through so many slides. But hopefully you're tracking with me. Here we begin to focus on those other circles that were on the right-hand side, especially the one that is diverse owned media. So not necessarily targeted, but diverse owned. This was an effort in the making, constructing, building this data, thanks to a partnership that we brought together with Maven and with Standard Media Index, SMI. This leverages the data from SMI that encompasses ad spend from 7 major holding groups and the leading independent agencies. It's about $95 billion, and here we cover all the media channels. It is about $95 billion. 90% of the national advertisers go through these holding companies. And in addition to that, as I mentioned, they cover all the media types. Maven, as you may know, is the largest database and source for the identifying the certified, the ownership, whether they're classified or certified. And then combining those two, we're able then to cross-reference, to map. We had to map for many, many months of data. And it revealed that for overall, we can see that the spend has gone from 437 million to 1.4 billion. What it does not include is programmatic, I should say. This is so, and does not account for buys that are not going through the holding companies or local advertisers. So this is not all the dollars, but it is a very good picture of the trends that are happening. These numbers are really showing a healthy increase percentage-wise, but as you can see, the dollars are still low. A total of only 1.85% of all this, what you see in the bottom, network cable TV, spot TV, network radio, spot radio, digital, spot TV, magazine, newspapers, out of home, and obviously, like I said, digital, is included here. Very healthy increase. Asian growing at 105% per year, Black second at 78% per year, and Hispanic at 56% per year, with the LGBTQ also growing at 47% and Native American and disabled decreasing. Now, as you can see, the majority of the stack chart goes to 1.16% of the 1.85 goes to Black entities. We were wondering, is this proportional to the base of the owners of the diverse owned media? And you can see that the universe of diverse owned media ownership is on your left. So they represent 47% or 9% are Asian, and they are getting 22% of the current dollars. African American and Asian basically are encompassing the vast majority of all the investment going in 2022 to diverse owned media companies. So they are overrepresented proportionally, but of course, all of them are disproportionately invested. So keep that in mind. And we can see that here a little bit more close. I'm not sure why the legend kind of went to the same color. I apologize about that. But you can see how we mentioned the increase in Black from 0.42% of all ad spend to 1.16, 280 million to 800 million. Asian from 0.11 to 0.41, very minuscule, but now at 286 million. And Hispanic jumped from 68 million to 165 million, only accounting for 0.25% of the ad spend of diverse owned media. The total ad spend, of course, that we talked about. Diverse, when we talk about Native American, LGBTQ, and people with disabilities, the numbers are much microscopic, I should say. LGBTQ jumping from 5 to 15 million. Now, let's get to what we're here today to focus on diverse owned and targeted media, where those two circles join, right, the Venn diagram. And in that intersection that we are focusing on today, we can see that the dollars here went triple right? From 300 million to almost a little bit over 900 million. The overall ad spend, again, the percentage of all ad spend that goes to diverse owned and targeted media is now standing at 1.23%. The majority of that comes, again, from the Black diverse owned and targeted media, Black media that is also Black targeted, almost at 1%. Asian only 0.02, Hispanic at 0.22, and the other segments in the less than 1%. Once again, here we see that the majority of those, the entire universe of diverse owned and targeted media, 50% are African American, only 36% are Hispanic, and 5% are Asian. And on the spend level, the share of that spend, 79% of the spend is going towards that 50% that is African American and Black, and 18% to Hispanic and 1% to Asian. And when we look at the total percentage for each one of the groups, Asian at 0.02, African American at 1.0 with 743 million, Hispanic at 0.2 with 165 million, Native American with only $200,000, LGBTQ 15 million, and disabled with 0.08 million at 0%. We are looking ahead. We need to continue the conversation about what is the right currency. Is the right currency the CPMs, or is there something else? What brings value? What is the value component of investing in diverse owned media and diverse owned and targeted media? And we have taken a look at the Diverse Media Accelerator at 160 diverse owned media and targeted media, and we have focused on the incremental value that they bring to the advertiser from a trust perspective, from a uniqueness, representing uniqueness in their community, the voice of their community, or issues in their community. And when we pull this together, I mean, including purchase intent, we can see that the mass market media here index at 100. When we compare diverse owned, targeted, or diverse owned and targeted, brings a multiplier effect of 1.3 to 1.5 times that of mass market. So that's what we're here today, because this authenticity that we are offering, that all the DOTMs are offering, that authenticity creates higher value. We're not talking about the scale all the time, but we're talking about incremental value of that deeper connection. Is about the quality of the connection, and that's where we want to go with the conversation. So let me bring Kathleen Coffey, founder and CEO of Media Frameworks Maven, to join me, and Todd Coons, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Standard Media Index. Thank you and welcome. So thank you first, Kathleen. I think more than a year ago, as we began looking into working with you, and 2 years ago with the Maven database, and how to make sure that the industry had a credible source for identifying more potential classified and certified media to do business with. You began with the concept and the inspiration behind an upfront that would bring them together. Tell me a little bit about that and that journey.
We have seen that there have been upfronts, whether they're internal to holding companies and for their clients, or they look at certain diverse categories, and it just seemed to make sense to not only have, and we don't like upfront, right? Growth front is what you came up with, which is wonderful. To be inclusive of all of the different diverse categories. And this time This time we are focusing on multicultural and inclusive, and of course, DOTM. And it really just made sense because we talk to diverse-owned media companies almost every day about how they really want to get in front of everyone and they're not really getting bought. So we talked about this and then you guys just took it and ran with it. So
Well, thank you
for that.
Well, thank you for that. Todd, SMI's data has been of amazing value to, as we can see, to understand where the industry stands. What was your take when you saw the numbers for the first time? What do you make out of them?
Shockingly low. At SMI, we work with all the major holding companies and several independent agencies, and we give them a clean, harmonized view of their own investment data. We also provide them an anonymized pool data set to track and benchmark against for a multitude of media buying, planning, optimization decisions, really competitive tracking. The one thing we didn't have was diversity certifications and classifications, which led us to connect with Kathleen and Media Framework. The two data sets combined, again, shed that transparency around those low percentages that we've been hearing about. A lot of our agency partners reach out to SMI all the time looking for help and additional resources because they know those numbers are low, and everyone is always just blown away with how low they are.
And of course, they are low, and there's a lag as far back as from 2020, from that time when the companies, many leading companies, many of the visionary companies today, put their attention and their efforts, and GM, that is going to be in the next panel with Bob Yadis, from the time that they put those initial efforts to the time that they make media buys to the time that we can amass the numbers to be able to read them. Obviously, there is a lag, but there is also a great story about the speed of progress, 100%, 76% growth in some segments, right? Tell me a little bit about that, Kathleen, and what's your feeling about the momentum that we are seeing before and that we're seeing here today?
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting. Our clients use our discovery database. For multicultural and inclusive, it's 4,200 media properties. They use that in order to find diverse partners and grow the business. So back when we started Maven, which was really for linking ownership, this is back in 2008, nobody was tracking for supplier diversity. No one was tracking media because no one knew how, right? And then one of our holding companies came to us and said, we're constantly being asked by our clients to give them how much is on diverse-owned media so they can add it to their numbers for supplier diversity. We just can't figure it out. So that's when we started building Maven Diversity. It's only 10 years old.
Yeah, an interesting point that you made, that there are about 4,200 multicultural, inclusive owned media entities in the database at this point in time. And the number of entities that are represented right now from the 7 major holding companies buys is 700.
It was one, yeah, 725 or something.
So that means that about 17% of the potential universe is being right now bought through the major holding companies, which really indicates how big the opportunity is out there and how important it is to introduce many of the new names, the new entities that we have here today to come to meet with advertisers. because the pool is much greater than the ones that we have met.
And some of the 40 that are here today have never been bought by a holding company. So this is like their first opportunity. It's really exciting.
Great. Todd, where do we go from here?
I'm thrilled to be a part of this study because it's really the first, I think, it's showing a sliver of the potential that we can have by providing additional resources to agencies and advertisers around diverse-owned and diverse targeted investment. Seeing these numbers now, we can track that, with the collaboration between SMI and AIMM and Media Framework. We can do this more regularly, more frequently, more granular. We can customize the benchmarks to specific product categories or specific media types to fit to, specific advertiser agency needs. So we're just looking forward to giving them more data, more resources to track this in real time. And again, making it a little bit more competitive and setting attainable benchmarks is going to continue to grow investment in this area.
Well, thank you. We are making this study available from our website. We call it near preliminary because there's still some final data scrubbing that needs to be done over the next week, but the numbers are not, the story's not going to change. They're maybe at the centesimal point. That will be made available, and we will continue to track on a quarterly basis. We're going to go and speed our our tracking, and we also want to overlay the operated, diverse operated and targeted into the reporting as well to understand what that means to all of our efforts. Thank you so much. Thanks for your
Thanks for having
partnership.
us. Thank you.